The two empires, the sky above was dark, but not like night. It was filled with strange colors, blue flames, red clouds, and green lightning. Alex stood still, eyes wide, heart pounding. This was not Earth. This was not home. A few hours ago, he had been working inside a small satellite station near the mountains. Just a normal day. Then the alarm started. The machines shook. A strange light filled the room, and then silence. When he woke up, he was here, on a cold metal floor, inside a ship not built by human hands. Alien hands. Tall figures with glowing eyes stared down at him. Their skin was silver, and their voices sounded like whispers and thunder, mixed together. They didn't hurt him. They looked confused, as if they were expecting someone else. "You are the human," one of them said. "The signal brought you." Alex didn't understand. "What signal?" he asked. But they didn't answer. Instead, they placed a strange device near his ear. Suddenly, he could understand them clearly. Not their language, but the meaning of their words. It felt like magic. "You have arrived during the war," the alien said. "You must speak to the council." Before Alex could ask anything, they walked him through the ship. Strange creatures passed by, some with wings, others with tails, and a few with more than two eyes. None looked like humans. None smiled. The ship landed on a planet called Zaroth. Zaroth was broken. Its land was dry, burned by years of war. The sky was always filled with smoke. In the distance, Alex saw large machines moving slowly, war machines. Alien soldiers marched in lines. Weapons were everywhere. He was taken to a large, round room. Inside, two groups of aliens sat on opposite sides. Their armor was different, but their anger was the same. They stared at each other with hate. One side was the Tharkai, tall, armored, silent. Their skin was dark blue and their eyes were gold. They moved like shadows. The other side was the Zernoks, larger, louder, and full of scars. They had hard red skin and glowing symbols on their foreheads. A large alien in the middle stood up. "Human," he said, "you have been called by mistake, but you are here now. And maybe that is not a mistake." Alex stepped forward. "I don't know why I'm here," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "But I don't want to cause problems. I just want to go home." Some aliens laughed. Others growled. The Tharkai leader spoke. "Our war is older than your species. Your wish means nothing here." The Zernoks king stood. "Unless he is the one from the old story," he said slowly. A murmur spread across the room. Alex felt his chest tighten. "What story?" he asked. "A prophecy," said a soft voice. An old alien with silver lines on his face stepped forward. Being not from this world, who will end the war with words, not weapons." More laughter filled the room. "Impossible," said one warrior. "This human is weak. He knows nothing." "Maybe that is why he can see clearly," the old alien said. "His eyes are not filled with hate like ours." Alex stood there, confused. He had no plan, no power, no idea what to say. Then he looked around. He saw both sides. The Tharkai had machines like the ones the Zernoks used. Their flags were different, but the shapes on them looked similar. Their weapons, their uniforms, even their food, were not so different. He stepped forward again. "You fight because you hate each other," he said. "But you use the same machines, you speak the same words in battle, you wear the same scars. Are you sure you are so different?" The room went quiet. "What do you know of our pain?" One alien shouted. "What do you know of our loss?" "Nothing," Alex said honestly. "But maybe that's why I can ask the questions you never ask." There was silence. Then someone whispered, "He must not be allowed to speak again." But before anything could happen, the old alien raised his hand. "Let him stay," he said, "for now." Alex was led away, not to a prison, but to a small room high in a tower. The window showed a sky filled with smoke and fire. He sat down, tired and scared. What was this place? Why was he here? And could he really stop a war that had lasted for Centuries. Outside his window, 2 alien warships floated in the air, one from each side, ready for battle, and in between them was him. The human between 2 empires, the night on Zaroth was quiet, but it was not peaceful. The silence felt heavy, like something dangerous was hiding just beyond the shadows. Alex stood near the window of his room, staring at the sky. 2 alien warships hovered above the ground, each from a different empire. He was caught in the middle. His mind was full of questions. Why had they really brought him here? Was it truly a mistake, or something planned? And what was the prophecy the old alien had spoken of? As he looked outside, a strange, soft voice came from the dark corner of the room. You shouldn't trust either side. Alex turned sharply. A young alien stepped into the light, small compared to the others, with bright silver eyes and soft gray skin. She looked young, almost like a teenager. Who are you? Alex asked. I'm Dari, she said. My parents are Xernox, but I live between the borders. Like you. Alex narrowed his eyes. How did you get in here? Your door was locked from the outside, she said with a small smile, but not for someone like me. Alex wasn't sure if she was friend or enemy, but then she added something that caught his full attention. The war isn't about territory, it's about a secret, something they found and then lied about. Alex sat down slowly. What kind of secret? But Dari stepped back into the shadows. You'll see. When you're ready. Before he could say more, she was gone, through a hidden wall panel, leaving behind only questions. The next morning, Alex was called to the high chamber again. This time, he was seated between both sides. Warriors stared at him with cold eyes, some with curiosity, others with pure hatred. A loud voice echoed through the room. Today, the voice said, the human will witness our pain. They flew him over the battlefield. The land below was dead, full of old craters, burnt trees, and broken machines. Giant skeletons of war robots lay across the desert. Some still twitched, like ghosts that refused to rest. They landed near an ancient site. Massive stone walls rose from the ground, covered in symbols. Both the Tharkai and Xernox had claimed this place as their own. This is where it began, the Tharkai leader said. This is where they betrayed us. The Xernox king added. Alex looked around. The symbols on the wall seemed to belong to both races, but also neither. They were older, deeper. These aren't your symbols, Alex said aloud. Both leaders turned to him. What do you mean? One of them demanded. Alex stepped closer. The symbols looked like a mix of both languages, like a parent language. Maybe this war started with a lie, he whispered. Maybe you were never enemies in the beginning. Everyone went quiet. Then suddenly, the ground shook. A deep rumble echoed through the canyon. Soldiers raised their weapons. Something was waking. From beneath the stone floor, a hatch opened, and a tall machine rose from below. It was ancient, covered in dust, but its core glowed with the same blue and red lights that powered both empires' weapons. Alex looked closer. The machine had 2 halves, one in Tharkai style, one in Xernox, built together side by side. What is this? He asked. No one answered. Then a loud voice came from inside the machine. Ancient, broken, but still alive. Unity system. Offline, divide protocol active, my war mode engaged. Alex stepped back. This machine what created your war. Guards rushed forward. Leaders shouted. One Tharkai elder screamed, shut it down. But another Xernox general whispered, no, let him hear more. As the machine kept speaking, Alex realized something chilling. Long ago, this machine had been made to unite both empires with shared technology. But someone had changed its code. Instead of peace, it spread division. Someone long ago had wanted war, and they had won. Before Alex could ask more, an explosion rocked the area. Smoke and fire filled the air. Ambush, a rogue army. Rebels from both sides who didn't want peace had attacked. They fired strange weapons and chaos exploded. Alex was pulled away by guards. As he ran, he looked back at the machine. It was burning, falling back into the ground. One moment of truth. Lost again in fire. Hours later, Alex sat alone in a dark room. He had seen too much. He now knew something powerful. The war was never natural. It was planned. Someone had controlled both sides for years, maybe centuries. And if that was true, then peace was still possible. But now, he had enemies on both sides. Those who feared what he had learned. Those who wanted war to continue. As the door to his room opened again, a voice whispered from the shadows. They will come for you soon. Choose your next words carefully, or die like the last peacebringer. The machine that should never work again. The city of Ashkar had not seen peace for more than 1,000 years. Its towers leaned like tired warriors. Its sky was always red from fire. Yet deep beneath this city, something ancient was still breathing. Something waiting to wake. Alex didn't sleep that night, not after what he had seen. The machine, the one buried beneath the battlefield, was not just old. It was dangerous. It had been built for unity but was turned into a weapon of division. And someone had made that happen. On purpose. His room had changed. It was no longer a guest room. It was a prison in disguise. There were no guards outside his door, but he could feel the eyes watching him. He wasn't safe anymore. A quiet knock came at the metal wall. Once. Twice. Then silence. A panel opened and Dari, the young alien girl from before, slipped in. You saw it, she said. Alex nodded. Someone changed the machine's purpose. They created the war. They wanted this. Dari nodded slowly. And now they want you, dead. Because you saw the truth. Who are they? Alex asked. Dari took a deep breath. A group known only as the Black Circle. They live in the shadows of both empires. They control the leaders, the battles, the stories, even the histories. They are the reason peace has never come. Alex's stomach turned. Why would anyone want to keep war going forever? Because war gives power, Dari whispered. It gives fear, and fear controls everything. Alex stood up. Then we need to find that machine. Fix it. Show both sides the truth. Dari looked away. It's not that simple. The machine is guarded, locked away in the city's deep vaults, and anyone who goes there doesn't come back. Alex paused. Then we need someone who knows how it works. Dari smiled just a little. I know someone. Hours later, under the dead moonlight, Alex followed Dari through the old tunnels, beneath Ashkar. The air smelled of rust and oil. Old machines sparked in the dark. Forgotten doors led to places no one had visited in centuries. Finally, they reached a dark chamber lit by one small fire. An old alien sat there, blind in one eye, hands shaking. Wires were connected to his body like veins. He looked like part machine himself. This is Kelrath, Dari said. He once helped build the original Unity system. The old alien looked up. So, the human comes at last. Alex stepped forward. You helped build the machine? Kelrath nodded. We built it to bring peace, but someone changed it before it was ever activated. They used our work to split the world. Can you fix it? Alex asked. Kelrath smiled, a sad, broken smile. No. But you can. Alex was confused. Me? I don't know anything about your machines. You don't have to, Kelrath said. The machine was meant to connect minds, not wires. Only someone with no history in our war, someone with a clean heart, can activate the core. That was the design. That's why the prophecy said a stranger, Dari whispered. Someone not born of this war. Kelrath stood slowly. But be warned. If you try to wake the machine, the Black Circle will come for you. Alex nodded. Then let them come. They moved through the tunnels toward the vault. It was deep, hidden beneath a dead temple once used for peace meetings. Alex stared at the massive metal door. Dari placed her hand on a scanner. Kelrath used a key that sparked with old light. The door opened slowly. Inside was silence. The machine stood tall, taller than anything Alex had ever seen. Glowing wires wrapped around it like veins. Strange symbols moved across its surface like liquid light. The air inside the room was heavy. It felt like time itself was watching. "Go to the center," Kelrath said. "Touch the core." Alex walked forward, heart pounding. He placed his hand on the center orb. It was warm. It pulsed. "Identity confirmed," said a soft voice from the machine. "Peace protocol unlocked." Suddenly, everything changed. Lights exploded across the chamber. The floor shook. The machine rose higher. Strange beams shot into the sky above the temple. It was waking. For the first time in 1,000 years, it was waking. But then, alarms, voices, explosions. The black circle had found them. From the shadows, figures in black armor burst into the chamber. Their weapons were silent but deadly. Dari pulled Alex. Behind a wall. Kelrath stood in front of the machine, unafraid. "You will not stop this again," Kelrath said. The black circle leader raised his hand. A shot rang out. Kelrath fell. Alex screamed, but Dari pulled him back. "We have to go." Now the machine was active but unfinished. They had to return later. Stronger. With help. As they escaped through the tunnels, Alex looked back one last time. Kelrath was gone. But the machine was alive. And now the war was no longer just between two empires. Now Alex was part of it, and he wasn't going to run. Assassins in the shadows, the stars above Zaroth shined cold and distant, as if they had been watching war for so long that they no longer cared who lived or died. Alex lay on the floor of an abandoned tower, breathing. His hand was bleeding. Dari pressed cloth against the wound. "They're hunting you," she said. "They won't stop now." "Let them come," Alex whispered, teeth clenched. "But next time I won't run." 2 hours ago they had escaped. The vault. Kelrath was dead. The Unity machine had awakened for a moment, just long enough to send a signal across both empires. A signal that couldn't be hidden. Something had changed, and now the Black Circle wanted that change buried. Again. They sent their first assassin that very night. The first attempt came in silence. Alex had been sleeping, surrounded by Dari and a few rebel fighters in a hidden chamber under the ash plains. He heard nothing, felt nothing, only the cold metal of a blade pressed gently against his throat. "Make no sound," a voice whispered. Alex didn't move. A figure stood above him, tall, dressed in black, face hidden behind a mask of light. The blade glowed blue. "You are a mistake," the voice continued. "You were not meant to touch the machine. You were not meant to survive." Alex stared straight into the assassin's mask. "Then why are you speaking instead of finishing it?" The blade didn't move. The assassin tilted his head. "Curious, you don't beg." "No," Alex said. "Because if I die, the truth lives without me now." For a moment, the assassin hesitated. Then Dari appeared from the shadows and fired. A shock dart. The assassin dropped, body frozen by the electric pulse. "We'll get no more warnings," Dari said. "Next time, they'll send 10. In the days that followed, Alex moved from hiding place to hiding place. Yet something strange began to happen. Aliens, both Tharkai and Zernox, started to whisper his name. The human who woke the ancient, machine. Some believed he was a fake, others believed he was a threat. But a few, just a few, began to believe he was the answer. Alex met with hidden rebel cells, young soldiers from both sides, tired engineers, quiet thinkers. They had all grown up with war, but they were ready to believe something else. "We saw the beam," one Tharkai boy said. "It came from the vault. We know it wasn't a weapon. It was light. Real light." Alex showed them the broken memory crystal Kelrath had left behind. Inside it was a message, an image of the Unity system's real purpose. This machine was built by your ancestors, Alex told them. It was designed to merge your networks, combine your energy, and bring peace. Someone changed it. Someone chose war. The rebels listened. A movement began, but the Black Circle moved faster. They spread lies across both empires. The human is an invader, a spy, a disease. Leaders began to argue behind closed doors. Some wanted Alex captured, others wanted him protected. The Zernox king, full of rage, ordered a bounty. "Bring me the human's heart," he shouted, "and your family will eat like kings." The Tharkai council went silent. No official words, only shadows. But one member, a young general named Kael'tor, sent a message. "I don't believe the lies. If you reach the temple of first fire, I will meet you. But if you're followed, we both die." The journey to the temple was hell. Dari and Alex moved through burning deserts and old battlefields. Each step was watched. Each shadow was a threat. Once, they were surrounded by Black Circle scouts. Dari was injured, and Alex had to carry her through a minefield of broken warbots. He never gave up. At the edge of the temple ruins, they met Kael'tor, a tall, strong figure with sharp eyes and a scar across his cheek. He knelt before Alex. "My father fought in the war. So did his father. But they never knew why. I think maybe you do." Alex showed him the memory crystal. Kael'tor watched in silence. Then he stood. "There are more like me, soldiers who are ready to stop fighting. Tell us what to do." Alex looked at the temple wall behind them. "We fix the machine, we show the truth, and we end the war, not by force, but by proof." But even as they made their plan, the enemy watched. Deep in the mountains, inside a fortress made of black stone, the leaders of the Black Circle met. "The human will not stop," one of them said. "Then we send the Shadowborn," replied another. A dark figure stepped forward. His skin was gray, eyes hollow. He had no voice, only silence. But where he walked, even fire died. He was the Circle's final weapon. Kill him, and kill the hope he brings. And as the stars above grew colder, the war below began to shift, not with guns, but with whispers, with truth, with one human who refused to kneel. Assassins in the shadows, the walls of the safe house whispered with secrets. Even silence had a voice here. Alex sat on the edge of a metal bed, his hands shaking slightly. Not from fear, but from the weight of truth. He had awakened the Unity machine. He had seen it respond to him. And now the two greatest empires in the galaxy either feared him or wanted him dead. He was not a soldier, not a leader, not even a speaker of their language, not really. But he had become something far more dangerous, a symbol. And symbols, he was learning, often died early. That night, just before midnight, the temperature inside the room dropped sharply. Alex opened his eyes. Something felt wrong. He sat up. The shadows in the room were thicker than they should be. Too still, too quiet. Even Dari, sleeping across the room, seemed frozen in an unnatural stillness. His instincts screamed. Then he saw it. A figure, no footsteps, no breath, just movement, like black smoke in the shape of a man. The shadow had already crossed the room. A thin blade, glowing with dull green poison, hovered inches from Alex's throat. A whisper brushed against his ear. "You were never supposed to wake it." The blade pressed forward, but it stopped. Time seemed to freeze. Alex, eyes wide, did not move. The shadow didn't flinch. Something was interfering. A second presence stepped through the wall. This one was brighter, not in color, but in presence. Cloaked in white ash armor, face hidden by light, it raised one glowing hand. The two assassins faced each other, darkness and light. Enemies not of Alex, but of each other. "He belongs to neither side," said the figure in ash. "Touch him, and you break the balance," the shadow hissed. Then vanished into nothing. The ash warrior turned toward Alex. Not speaking, only nodding once as if in warning or in respect. Then it too disappeared. Alex collapsed back, breath shaking. They weren't just sending soldiers now. They were sending legends. The next morning, Dari found him awake, staring at the wall. They sent a Shadowborn? She asked, shocked. Alex nodded. And it didn't kill you? He shook his head. No. Something else stopped it. Dari's face turned pale. Then this is bigger than we thought. There are forces outside the empires watching you now. 3 days later, word came from the city of Ixtra, capital of the Xernox Empire. There had been a riot in the lower tiers. Young Xernox rebels had painted Alex's symbol on the city walls, a human hand holding a broken chain. Some were arrested. Others vanished. But the message was clear. The truth was spreading. Alex and Dari moved quickly. With the help of Kale Tor, the Tharkai general who now supported him, they created a plan. Return to the city of Ashkar, reach the Unity Core, and this time, broadcast its true message to the entire galaxy, but they couldn't do it alone. They needed voices from both sides, and they needed to survive long enough to speak. So Kale Tor reached out to an old enemy, a Xernox war priest named Morvac, a brutal leader with blood on his hands but a mind sharp as any blade. Morvac agreed to meet, but on one condition: Alex must come alone. The meeting was held in the ruins of an old battlefield, surrounded by rusted mechs and the bones of forgotten soldiers. Alex walked alone, every step echoing between massive broken war machines. Morvac waited at the center, surrounded by guards. He looked down at the human, unimpressed. "You woke the Unity machine," he said. "Some call that a miracle, others call it a lie." Alex didn't flinch. "What do you call it?" Morvac stepped closer. "I call it dangerous because if you speak the truth and the war ends, and when war ends, men like me become useless." "Then why agree to meet?" Alex asked. Morvac smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Because part of me wants to believe that all these centuries meant something, that we were tricked, that we were brothers once." Alex nodded. "You were, and I can prove it." He handed Morvac a shard from the Unity Core, an ancient seal with both Tharkai and Xernox language engraved side by side. Morvac stared at it for a long time. Then, for the first time in decades, he bowed his head. "I will listen," he said as Alex returned to the hidden rebel base. Dari was waiting, with terrible news. "They've placed a kill order in both empires, not just on you, on anyone seen helping you." Alex's face hardened. "Then they've already lost." "How do you figure that?" she asked. "Because they fear words more than weapons now." That night, rebels from both empires gathered, in secret, around firelight, in shadows, in hidden halls, and they listened as Alex stood before them. No armor, no power, just truth. "You were never meant to be enemies," he said. "You were designed to be greater, together," and they believed. For the first time, they believed. But in the deepest vault of the Black Circle, a new weapon was being prepared, one that could erase Alex's name from every mind in the galaxy, a machine built not to destroy bodies, but to destroy memory. "If we can't kill the human," the voice in the dark said, "then we will erase him." The hidden truth. The stars above were silent witnesses, watching civilizations rise and fall, remembering truths that people had chosen to forget. But truth has a strange habit. It doesn't die. It waits, it hides in walls, in data, in the cracks of old machines. And now it had found its voice again. Alex. Inside a long-forgotten bunker deep beneath the Tharkai Mountains, Alex stood before a sealed door. The stone around it was ancient. Not war metal, not empire steel. Older than both empires. Combined, Kale Tor, Dari, and Morvac stood behind him. Enemies days ago. Now, standing together, silently, watching history open. Alex held the final shard, the last fragment of the Unity system's core, passed to him by a dying rebel. It pulsed with blue light as he placed it into the key slot. The door did not open. It unfolded, like time itself was making way for something long buried. Behind it was not a room, but a vault of memory. Hundreds of glowing orbs floated mid-air, each one containing a piece of recorded history. Voices, visions, truths, long erased from the surface world. Dari stepped forward, hands shaking. This is impossible. This isn't Xernox, and it's not Tharkai either. That's because it's both, Alex said, or it was. He picked up the largest orb. It activated instantly. A holographic figure appeared, a tall being, elegant and strong, with features of both races, blue skin with red markings, golden eyes with glowing symbols. The being spoke in a voice that echoed deep in their bones. We were one. The orb played an ancient recording, a time before war, a time when Tharkai and Xernox were a single people called the Zorakai, a mighty civilization that had mastered technology and peace, blending mind and machine in perfect balance. But something changed, not a war, not a natural disaster, a betrayal. A secret faction inside the Zorakai feared unity. They believed peace made them weak. They believed control could only come through division, so they did the unthinkable. They split the mind core of their people into two halves, Tharkai and Xernox, and erased all memory of the original identity. They created two new empires, with false histories, false heroes, and a war that would never end. The Black Circle was born that day. Alex and the others stood in stunned silence. Morvac fell to his knees. Kael'tor clenched his fists so tightly that his armor cracked. All our wars, he said quietly. Our fathers are dead. It was all a lie. Not a lie, Alex said. A story told to keep you from remembering who you were meant to be. They spent the next 3 days uploading the memory orbs to hidden channels, spreading the truth to rebel networks, across both empires. Each orb awakened more followers. Each fact shook another city. Barracks filled with whispers. Leaders panicked. The Black Circle launched sweeps to erase the orbs. Burn the servers, silence the messengers. But it was too late. The truth had gone viral. Then came the final blow. Alex found an orb with a message marked, "Only for the chosen voice." He played it alone. The ancient Zorakai figure appeared again, but this time it spoke directly to him. If you have found this message, you are the anomaly, the one who was never meant to be part of the system. And that is your power. You are not Zorakai, you are human. Outside our design. Untouched by the programming of division. You are the key to our unification protocol. Activate it, and you will restart the truth. But it comes with a price. Once unity begins, there will be no more empires, no more kings, only one people. They will call you savior or destroyer. Alex stepped out of the chamber and told the others everything. Kael'tor looked at him. You could become the most powerful being in the galaxy, Morvac said, or the most hunted. Dari asked quietly, "What are you going to do?" Alex looked up toward the stars. Finish what they started, not for power, for peace. But as they prepared to return to the Unity Core and activate the final protocol, the Black Circle struck first. They activated a hidden device known as the Eraser, a pulse machine buried deep in the core of the Xernox capital. Its purpose, not to kill, but to erase memory, to wipe out every digital trace of Alex, the Unity, and the Zorakai truth, forever, and they had already started the countdown. With less than 48 hours before the eraser activates, Alex and his allies must reach the heart of the system. The final battle will not be with weapons. It will be against time, against history, and against the deepest fear of all. What if the world doesn't want the truth? The war trial, the Hall of Judgment, was carved into the side of a living mountain. It had stood for over 1,000 years through storms, through war, through the rise and fall of kings. Now, for the first time in history, a human stood at its Center, Alex. Not a king, not a soldier, not a god. Just a human, carrying a truth too heavy for either empire to hold. The Unity machine had spoken. The hidden vault had been opened. The truth of the Zorakai, the once unified people who were divided by design, was now spreading across the galaxy like wildfire, and the Black Circle was losing control. They could not kill the message. But maybe they could kill the messenger. On both sides of the hall, leaders sat high on stone thrones, the Zernox War Council on the left, covered in red and gold armor, eyes burning with rage. The Tharkai Tribunal on the right, silent and cold, faces hidden behind black crystal masks. In the middle, on a raised platform, Alex stood alone. No chains, no armor, only truth. The hall was full, not just with leaders, but with watchers, soldiers, rebels, silent agents of the Black Circle. Everyone wanted to hear what the human would say. The Zernox High General stood. You are accused of trespassing, of activating forbidden technology, and of spreading false history designed to weaken our empire. The Tharkai speaker followed. You are also accused of disturbing sacred archives, disrupting military operations, and uniting rebel forces without imperial permission. Alex took a breath. I accept all charges. A murmur rose across the chamber. I accept them, he repeated, because they are true. I activated the Unity machine. I revealed your forgotten history. I brought your sons and daughters together to ask a question you've been afraid to face for centuries. What if your war was never yours to begin with? The room went still. Outside the city, the countdown had already begun. The eraser, the final weapon of the Black Circle, was hidden inside the digital heart of the Zernox capital. It was designed to release a pulse across the galaxy in less than 12 hours. Every memory, every file, every recording of Alex, the Zorakai, and the Unity system would vanish. It wouldn't kill anyone. It would just make it look like none of this had ever happened. Inside the hall, Morvac, the war priest, stepped forward. I have seen the proof, he said. Symbols older than our cities. Words written in the blood of our ancestors. We were one people. Kael'tor stood beside him. My soldiers no longer fight the rebels. They fight the Black Circle, because now they know. And once a soldier knows the truth, they must choose obedience or honor, the council argued. They shouted. Some called for Alex's death. Others called for exile. One Zernox general raised his voice. He must be erased before his story becomes law. Another cried out, he's a danger to our children's minds. Then Dari stepped forward. No title, no armor, just a voice that trembled but did not break. He's not a danger, she said. He's a mirror. We fear what we see in him because it's real. Because we're tired of fighting, and we don't know how to stop. She turned to the leaders. He came here without a gun, without a plan to rule. He came only with the truth. And the truth is making you sweat. The Black Circle moved, quickly. In the control room beneath the Capitol, they prepared the final step. The eraser would not just delete files. It would erase every memory connected to Alex, every AI that had recorded him, every security camera, every communication. It would digitally unmake him a ghost. But there was one problem. To activate the eraser, they needed the Unity Core's last fragment, the one still carried by Alex, back. In the trial hall, the walls trembled. A dark wind moved through the chamber. One of the Tharkai council members removed his mask. His eyes were pure black. A sleeper agent of the Black Circle. He pulled a weapon from his robe. The trial is over, he hissed. History ends now, he fired. Alex froze, but the blast never hit him. Morvac stepped in front. The beam struck his chest. He staggered. Blood poured. But he smiled. I followed war for my whole life, he whispered. But I'll die. For peace. He collapsed. The hall erupted into chaos. Kael'tor pulled Alex behind the stone thrones. Dari screamed for medics. But Alex stood up. He looked around at the leaders still arguing, still afraid, and he climbed back to the center of the chamber, bleeding, shaking, alive, and he raised the Unity fragment in the air. "This is not a war of fire anymore," he shouted. "It's a war of memory, of truth. And if you're too afraid to face it, then step aside, because history is moving, and it will remember who stood in its way." A decision was made. The councils voted, and for the first time in over 1,000 years they agreed. The trial was over. Alex would not be executed. He would be escorted, with protection, to the Unity machine. He would activate the final protocol and let the galaxy decide its fate. But they were already late. In the city below, the Eraser's power core had begun its final cycle. 6 hours remained. If Alex failed, the truth would disappear forever, and the war would reset. Again. The ultimate gift, the sky cracked above the mountains of Zaroth. Thunder fell in silence, not from clouds, not from storms, but from memory, from truth. The final hour had come. The Eraser was nearly active. 6 systems were already falling silent, servers blacking out, files collapsing, recordings vanishing. Every proof of Alex, of the Zorakai past, of the truth that united 2 races, fading like a dying star. If they failed now, it wouldn't be death. It would be erasure. Alex ran through the final corridor, the Unity fragment gripped in his bloodied hand. Dari and Kyltor were at his side. Ahead of them, the Unity chamber had begun to glow, calling to the one it was made for. Not a king, not a warrior, but a stranger who had no part in their war. A human, the last anomaly. But the black circle had not given up. As they reached the chamber, a shockwave tore through the ground behind them. Columns cracked, stone ceilings rained dust. Shadowborn soldiers flooded the entrance, dozens of them, faceless, merciless, moving like liquid metal with eyes of ice. "They're here," Kyltor shouted, pulling Dari behind cover. Alex didn't stop. He crossed the ancient bridge, each step echoing through time, each step waking something beneath the surface of the galaxy. The Unity core rose from the center of the chamber, glowing like a newborn sun. "Insert the key," it said. Final protocol, truth or silence. The battle exploded around him. Dari screamed. Kyltor fought hand to hand with a Shadowborn assassin. But Alex heard none of it now. He was inside the machine, not with his body, with his mind. Inside the Unity system there were no walls, only light, only voices. Zorakai voices, memories, millions of them, old citizens, children laughing, elders teaching, scientists building a future that was stolen, and then silence. The divide, the black circle's code, the split. He saw it, he felt it, and now he could choose. "If you activate full unity," the system said, "the war ends. Knowledge returns. The 2 empires become one again." But Alex already knew. You will not return to your world. Your mind will remain inside the Unity. Your body cannot survive the transfer. One life for millions of others. One truth for a new future. Outside, Daddy cried out, bleeding. Kyltor had fallen to his knees, fighting 3 attackers alone. The Shadowborn were breaking through, and the Eraser was down to 4 minutes. Alex breathed slowly and spoke. "I am not your chosen one. I am not your prophet. I am just a man who refused to believe that war was our only story." He inserted the final fragment. The system lit up. Activation confirmed. Final protocol, Unity memory restored. A wave of light burst from the core, pure, brilliant, and unstoppable. Across the stars it moved, to every database, every soldier's helmet, every city, every AI, every satellite. The full history of the Zorakai was released. Images, voices, documents, proof, the truth no one could deny. The war stopped in one heartbeat, because for the first time everyone saw what they had been denied and what they had become. In the unity chamber, the black circle screamed. Their soldiers fell one by one, not by weapons but by memory. Their minds began to shake, caught between the false histories they believed and the real one flooding in. Some cried. Some dropped their weapons. Some ran. Kael'tor looked up. The assassins were gone. Dari crawled toward the core, screaming, "Alex! Alex!" But he was already gone. His body stood still, his eyes closed, his heartbeat silent. Inside the core, Alex lived, not as flesh, but as light, as voice, as memory, a guardian of unity. A day later, across both empires, the two kings, once enemies, stood. Side by side, they made a final broadcast. We were divided by fear, but we are united now, by a human. And in honor of his sacrifice, they gave him a gift he would never use. A planet, peaceful, untouched, named after the only thing that ever stopped their war. Alexar. Dari visited it often. She stood beneath its quiet sky, listening to the wind. And, sometimes she swore she could hear his voice. Truth never dies, it whispered. It waits for someone brave enough to speak it.